Hey everyone. It's been a while since I've tried to upload any videos on here, which I mean it's been fun with me. Recently, I've been trying to use most of my free time to spend time with Fido because of everything that he's been going through the last couple months, and I just this video is to uh, give give everybody an update about how he's doing and what health concerns have been kind of brought up by the vets recently, and um, what are my plans to kind of do about it. And um, I'm gonna kind of cut to the chase early in this video, so that way people kind of just want to know what's going on, and you know, kind of just know what to be thinking about or be praying about. Then you guys don't have to watch this video for too long. And then I kind of want to, after I kind of describe what's going on and what I'm going to try to do. I am going to kind of self reflect about everything and what's been going on in my mind throughout this whole thing, and kind of just, I guess, vent for lack of a better words, but just kind of just um, think aloud a little bit and let you guys kind of give you guys a glimpse of what's been going on in my mind. But um, just just to get to what's going on. So back in mid September, the vets had taken Fido off of his pain medication that he was taking for about a year, or like a little under a year, um, because of concerns about the pain medication affecting his liver long term. And I was hoping that they would give us a replacement medication, but they told us that there wasn't. And so I was really concerned that his back pain, which is why he was taking the pills to begin with, was going to start to come up again. And before he took his initial pain pills, uh, we had to take him to the ER, which led to him getting those pills because he had such bad back pain that his back would just start spazzing and twitching uh, like intensely on him, to the point where he just couldn't walk. And so he went to the ER to have that treated, and then that's when we were given the pain medication. And so then mid September last year, we were recommended to take him off those pills for concerns of his liver, and so that's what ended up happening. But I was worried again that his back pain was going to come back and he was going to start having the same symptoms, and he was going to have a hard time walking, which recently also, which I was having worries about for kind of around the middle of last year, was I noticed that Fido was starting to have a little harder time relieving himself. And so I know I had a hunch that those stemmed from his back pain. Just the pain was giving him a hard time being able to position himself to relieve himself. And so my concern was that if he wasn't able to comfortably relieve himself, that he wouldn't. And so because of that, I was just concerned that with him being off those medications, that um, it was just going to be a lot harder for him to be able to, you know, do basic bodily functions. So, unfortunately, his back pain did start to show similar symptoms, to the point where his back did start to twitch on him intensely again. And so we did end up taking him back to the hospital, or to the vet, and they did recommend us another pain medication that older dogs could take. Um, and so they gave us that this time around. But unfortunately, um, in the nighttime, I gave him the pill, and then come the middle of the night, um, Fido started having a hard time relieving himself, and um, for about a good 6 to 7 hours, he just was uh, he just kept going outside, trying to relieve himself, coming back in. He tried drinking water, and he threw it up a couple of times, and we were just kind of confused about what was going on. And so, right when the vets opened up again the next day, we called them, letting them know the situation. They told us to rush him in right away, which was what we did. And they worked on him, and what ended up happening was the pain medication that they recommended us the day prior caused a blockage in his digestive system, and so he wasn't able to relieve himself of what he ate, and thus caused him to throw up, and while also having the need to relieve himself because he was trying to push out the pain pill. And so because of that, he eventually ended up going to the ER that same day. And later that day, I had made a post on Facebook explaining the situation with him, and kind of just expressing that with all this going on, I just even if he did pull through from this, I just felt that you know that I kind of just had to start prepping for his health to start slowly declining, and for things to start kind of looking towards him eventually passing on in the near future, which I mean, when that realization came to me that day, I just I just was extremely sad, and just honestly frustrated with how things kind of played out. But more so just kind of just I just was really scared that I could probably lose Fidel that same night, and even if I didn't, that it was just signs of things to start kind of to start pointing towards the end. So that all happened early November. So yeah, he got off his initial pain medications, and then from then till late October is when he started having his back problems again, and we took him back to the vet. And then that same time, he got new pain medications, and then ended up having to go to the ER. And since then, his health has really just kind of steeped down and declined really fast. I mean, he aged in a matter of months after he went into the ER. He slowed down a lot. His energy just decreased a large amount, and the thing is his attitude and his desire hasn't really changed, but I think because of how fast everything has happened, he hasn't really come to terms with how much his health has declined, because he still has the urge and desire to do things that he could before, but now that things are different, he's not capable of doing those things anymore. And so he's been having a really hard time kind of overestimating what he can do, and kind of just pushing himself a little too hard. And I find myself often just having to watch out for him because he's not watching out for himself. But yeah, and in the last couple months, I had to change his diet too, and I ended up getting a prescription dog food for him, because a couple months ago he was starting to show signs that he couldn't relieve himself again because of his back pain. And I would notice that when he would try to relieve himself, he'd be in a position, but he would stop before he even let anything out, and then he would just want to continue on. And I got really concerned, because if he's not letting anything out, but he continues to want to eat, then eventually he's just going to continue to build up inside. And I just didn't want him to hurting himself, because he just didn't want to relieve himself. So because of that, I took him into the vet, and they gave us a prescription for prescribed dietary wet dog food, and so he's been on that ever since then. And um, yeah, and then recently I took him to the vet for a I forget what it's called. Essentially it's like a wellness check, or like a checkup or whatever. And when they were done assessing him, I went to go pick him up, and they had raised concerns about. Uh, sorry, something in my nose. Let me just blow this out real quick. Sorry. Um, yeah. So I took him. So when I went to go pick him up from the vet, um, they had they had one of the nurses come out to talk to me, and when I got there, I was told that I'd be able to take him home when I got there. But when I got there, I waited for about 45 minutes before I could actually take him home. And before they even brought him out, they had a nurse come out to talk to me, and they had raised concern about a bump or a lump that had developed by his rectal cavity. And um, I the thing about that too is that that developed like a month after his ER visit, and I didn't really think much about it because his attitude didn't really change, or I didn't see his health you know, it didn't seem like it was really affecting his health all too much. So he had that bump up until that point where the nurse um, showed me the recommendations for it. I just was confused because I know the doctors had seen him before that point, and it just took up until now for them to have a recommendation for it, and the bump hasn't grown since then. And like I said, it hasn't affected his ability to do anything, or he hasn't shown any signs of um of inability to eat or drink or walk or anything like that. So when he showed me the recommendations on how to treat that, I kind of just was uh, surprised about the level of concern. And now they eventually had the doctor come out to talk to me about it, and um, they she expressed that she wanted to test it because she was concerned that there was a possibility that it could be cancerous, that it could potentially be a tumor. And I mean, I understand that the doctors, they're trying to express, you know, their their concern, and they're trying to they want to do what's best for Fido. The thing is too is that in the span of these past 6 months, there's been a lot of bumps that developed on Fido's body that I don't know what to make of them. That I honestly feel uh, seem more likely to be cancerous than the bump by his rectal cavity. There's been some lumps that have developed on Fido's chest, a couple of them that and the thing is too is the vets haven't raised concerns about those bumps, which I'm kind of confused about, that they're raising concerns about the bump by his rectal cavity, but not about the ones that are actually on his chest that seem like lumps. But honestly, it just it's just kind of like I don't know what to say about all that, because they with the test that they recommend that we do for him to check if the bump by his rectal cavity is cancerous, excuse me, is going to cost $600, and that's with the discount that we have with the PEP plan that we have for the vet. Originally, it costs about $1,000. So, so because of that, and for me knowing that there's more than just the bump by his rectal cavity. Um, I can confidently say that there are 3 more bumps besides the one uh, on his backside that, I'd be easily dropping $2,000 just to check each one of them. And yeah, it's not to say that I don't want to check him. It's just they've been there for so long, and his attitude hasn't changed in the time span that I don't I haven't really felt the need to check them. And again, if the vet hasn't really raised concern about those ones, but are raising concerns about the one in the back, I kind of just don't know what to think about at all. So, uh, so because of that, what I've been trying to do is just I've been diligently trying to watch how he's been behaving the last couple months, and just just observing him as I'm walking him, observing him as I'm just spending time with him, laying with him, trying to let him rest, and just seeing if he's changed in his in how he acts. And he still acts the same. He still has the same amount of desire. I mean, his energy's decreased, but I think personally that's just naturally because of with all the health scares and doctor's visits that he had to do uh, late last year, that I think it just really tired him out. And with his because he's not on pain medications anymore, I'm sure his back is bothering him even more. So I'm sure that's why he's decreasing in energy and mobility, because now he's feeling his back even more so. But there's no other pain medication that the doctors want to give him, because they feel he's too old to be able to handle the side effects or uh, of the other pills. And so the pill that they had given him after having taken him back because of his pain, because of his back pain coming up again, the pill that they gave us was supposed to be the best pain medication that we could give to an elderly dog, and he ended up having a bad reaction to it. So it's it's very unfortunate. And so essentially at this point, um, we're from what the doctors are saying, we're potentially looking at trying to determine if Fido could potentially start could potentially have um, cancerous tumors on his body, I guess. Which, I mean, if that's the case, then I just don't know. I I don't want to not fight it, and I don't want to not give him a fighting chance. But knowing that his health has just declined so much in the past 6 months, and knowing how tired he looks every day, and how he can't even walk the same amount anymore. The only way he can get back home is if I carry him home now, which wasn't the case before he went to his ER visit back in November. And um, I just don't know if he'll be able to handle all the treatment. And I just don't want him to suffer. I really just don't want him to suffer more than he has to. Um, so I honestly don't know what to do. Again, we don't know if he has cancerous tumors. We don't know what the bumps are, but from the vet's concern, she thinks there's a possibility that at least the one on his backside has a chance to be um, cancerous. So I set up an appointment for July 9th for them to do the test on him to see if it is. And then as far as the ones that are around his chest, I mean, I honestly don't know. Um, I mean, I need to find the funds to be able to pay for those. And yeah, I mean, that's again for the one that they're recommending we do for the one in the back. I'm gonna do it since they're recommending it. But the other ones, they haven't raised any concerns about it. So, and I don't know if that's because they're unaware of those bumps on his chest, or they just don't think those have a same level of concern as the one on his backside. So I'm not sure, but yeah, and yeah, Fido, poor Fido's, he's just so tired every day now. Um, he just walks so gingerly around the house. When he knows we're going for a walk, his energy levels spike up a lot, because walking is his favorite thing to do now. His favorite thing that he can do now. Um, and but even then, he can only last for about 20 minutes until he needs to take a sizable break, and then we try to go again, and then eventually it goes back and forth until I have to carry him back home again, or carry him back to the car so we can get back home. um, and with his diet too, um, again, the thing is I think he's still having a hard time coming to terms about his health, because he still has desires to want to go for long walks, and try to keep going further and further, and he still tries to eat whatever he can find. And in my mind, I'm just kind of thinking like, oh, Fido, I feel like you should know your body better than I do, and I just don't understand why you're pushing yourself so much, why you're just disregarding your health so much. And I know he's a dog. I know he doesn't know any better. I would think that if his body hurts because of what's going on, I would think he would try to not have his body hurt by not trying to eat so much, so that way he doesn't have to worry about trying to relieve himself from all that, from what he eats, and not wanting to walk too far, so that way his back doesn't hurt that much more, so that it doesn't have to worry about getting anywhere. So, but yeah, that's the current situation we're in with his health. And um, knowing that there's I'm probably gonna have to pay a lot of money from here on out to try to continue to you know see if Fido can continue to push on, and try to address whatever medical expenses come up in the future, especially if there's concerns about um, cancer potentially. um, I've come to the decision that I'm gonna try to start selling off some of my personal belongings. Honestly, I really want to try to sell off a majority of my personal belongings if I can, um, to help pay for any future medical expenses, because because I just want to try to do what I can, so that way I can at least give Fido a little bit more time, and honestly, you know, give myself more time to be with Fido, um, before everything's said and done. So so that's what I plan on doing, is just trying to sell off uh, some of my belongings, and um, and then just trying to just see how things play out from here on out, and just hoping for the best. But I'm very much aware, and the past 6 months, I've just slowly been embracing the reality that that he's just slowly getting closer to his end. And not to say that it doesn't make me sad, it makes me really sad. um, I mean, I'm tearing up right now, but there's, I mean, he Fido is the thing I care about the most. Um, and I also know that um, that I wasn't a perfect pet owner, and there's been times where I could have done more for him and spend more time with him. And so, not to say that I'm beating myself up, I could have done more, but that's why I'm trying to use all my free time right now, um, to just be there with him, because he deserves it, and um, and I just want to be able to watch him, so I can, if I notice something's different, then I can do something about it right away, instead of kind of just being unaware or being ignorant about what's going on with him, and just trying to do what I can about it right away. Um, but yeah, it's I've never really experienced a close death in my life, and with Fido being my first pet too, this is gonna be it's gonna be really hard when he passes. So, um, but I'm making the most of all the time I have with him, and just trying to make sure that if anything, he knows that I'm here, that I'm gonna be here with him, and um, until the end. Until the end, I'm gonna I'm gonna be right by my side and try my best to just, you know, make him feel that I'm right by his side, and and I just want to spend as much time with him, because I at this point I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know when it's gonna all end, when something's just gonna drastically affect his health, and it'll be over. So yeah, I I appreciate everybody listening and just kind of watching the video to know what's been going on. This first part I went a lot longer than I wanted it to. I really wanted to kind of just uh, say everything right off the bat. But again, I appreciate everybody uh, watching and listening. So I appreciate everybody, and I'll say this too. I know that there, you know, I know that a lot of you guys are caring people, great people with amazing hearts, and um, so if anybody wants to show support in any way, I'd greatly appreciate it, and you guys can reach out to me in private, or just inquire to me about, you know, what I'm trying to do and whatnot. Again, I'm gonna sell my personal belongings, so that way, at least for right now, if anybody wants to help out, then and you know, the things I'm trying to sell off aren't necessarily in everybody's interest and whatnot. So I don't blame you if you're not interested in anything I'm trying to, you know, sell off. But um, I just, for right now, because I don't know like there's nothing initially big health wise going on with him. I just don't I can't in good conscience just, you know, accept money if I don't know what it's going to yet. But if people are still inclined to give money or support in any way, then I'll take it. You know, I'm not going to be prideful, or you know, I'll humble myself to accept help, which, you know, I'd greatly appreciate anybody wanting to give help. Um, and well, speaking of him, he's right there. He's just laying down. Hi, baby. Hi. Are you okay? Hi, baby. Oh, yeah, you're okay. Yeah, I have a fan blowing for him because it's pretty hot in my room right now. But I mean, he's still a goofy dog, and he's my baby. Um, so yeah, this time has been really hard. But again, I appreciate everybody listening, and yeah. So 30 minutes of me explaining what's been going on, but now this next part, I'm kind of just gonna spiel about what's been going on in my mind, and kind of just um, yeah, just kind of go into depth about what I've been thinking about mentally. So we'll cut to that. All right. um, so for those who kind of want to just listen to what's been going on with me mentally about in this whole process, I think for starters, what I'll say is that uh, not to essentially, because I mean, I don't think there's that close of a comparison, but um, I mean, having to just be constantly observing Fidel and watching seeing if his attitude changes and his behaviors change or whatnot, it's just been really stressful. And I've just honestly every day I worry about him because I'm just constantly just anticipating that something could change at any moment, and something can affect him. And I feel like I just always have to be watching what he does, so that way he doesn't do something to himself that could hurt himself, which is stressful. I feel like I'm constantly watching over like a toddler, or like a very young kid. And it's like I was saying earlier, there's been times where I get real frustrated with Fido, because I know he doesn't essentially know better, but I feel like with him feeling the pain that he's going through, and him feeling what the things that are going on with him affect his body, I would think he wouldn't want to push himself so hard to do what he's doing, to just feel the satisfaction of going to where he usually goes and stuff like that. But I feel like, again, I feel like part of him is really having a hard time coming to terms with his age and his health, and that makes me really sad for him, because because truthfully, I feel like I'm trying to make so many calculated decisions in order to just make the best decisions that help him as much as I can. When I watch him, I try to just watch to see if the way he's acting is whether it's him actually just getting older and it's just natural because of everything that he's gone through, or something is genuinely wrong with him. And at the same time, because I don't I don't have a lot of money to just spend on every concern that that I feel about him. I have to make smart I have to make rational decisions about whether I should take him to the doctor for this, take him to the doctor for that. And it's unfortunate. It's not that I want. That's not, I mean, that's just the fact of life for tons of people. And when I look at Fido, and when I know when knowing that he's getting older like this, and watching him kind of just slowly decline, part of me actually feels grateful and blessed that I'm able to be there for him through this whole process, because I know there's a lot of animals that don't have as much support when they reach their end like that. And unfortunately, there's a lot of animals who face that alone, and that breaks my heart. um I think it was a couple weeks ago, on Twitter, I stumbled upon a comic that someone made, and it absolutely broke my heart. um the comic was about a dog who was placed in a shelter, and he was 14. The the same age as Fido is now. And this dog was, and this dog has been in the shelter for 7 years. And the comic shows the dog watching all the other younger dogs get adopted in the shelter while he's just sitting there. And he has this little pet. He has this little stuffed bear that he has with him that's his closest companion. And in one of the panels, you see a sign that says, it has his name, and it says his age and how long he's been in the shelter. And it says that, he's good with dogs, he's good with people, he's good with kids. He's a good dog. He's a well-behaved dog. But people are just adopting the younger dogs, and he's been in the shelter for 7 years. And the other sad thing about the comic is that he thinks he was abandoned by his family. And in the comic, you hear his thoughts, and what he's thinking about is he's waiting for them. He's waiting for them to come get him. He keeps telling his bear that that they'll come back for him. That they'll come back for him. And in one of the very last panels, he pushes his little stuffed animal bear outside of his cage, and he tells him, "Go look for them. Go look for my family, because I don't know how much time I have left." And he pushes the stuffed animal out, and you just see him laying there, and you see a shadow come over him, and the shadow asks him, "Are you tired?" And the dog says, "Yes, I'm very tired." And the shadow over him is death. He never got adopted. He never got to go to another home. So I'm grateful that I get to be with Fido, because at least I have a chance to show him that I'm gonna be there with him till the end. Because just recently, like around a month and a half ago, I had to say goodbye to a dog that I knew was being neglected, that didn't have a fair chance in life. And after he got out of that situation, he didn't even last long. He had to get put down because he had cancer. And he looked old too. He looked old, he looked tired, he looked miserable, and he was lonely. And one of my greatest regrets is I didn't get the chance to be there with him when they put him down at the shelter, because I wanted to see him one more time. And I knew with that dog, it was a huge honor for me to be able to get to know him, because he would bark at almost everybody else, whether it was animals or people. But he warmed up to me, and he warmed up to Fido. And Fido and him would run back and forth along his fence line. And I know he appreciated that a lot, that he got to just play with somebody. That he got to interact with a dog like that. I'm sorry. the past 6 months have been really hard, and accepting that things are coming to an end for Fido. And again, Fido is the closest thing to me at this point in my life. And what's been hard too is I, I I'm the one that essentially does all the walking for him and feeding him and stuff like that, um, and it's mainly because everybody else in his life is either too busy to do it, to do what he essentially wants to do to be happy. And I mean that's not anybody else's fault, or they just don't know how to um, how to fulfill his needs like that. I'm the only one, which I'm grateful for, because that's why we have such a unique relationship. That's why I'm his favorite human in the world. But at times it just kind of feels lonely that that I feel like nobody can really comprehend how me watching him decline is really it's really getting to me, because it's every day. Every day I'm just watching him, and every day I'm just watching him just slowly go away. Every time I walk him, and then he eventually gets tired, I carry him, and he sits on my shoulder right here. This one, my right one, and I hold him up like this. And when he's up here, I just kind of rest my head on him. Because again, he's my baby. And what's been really interesting too is that I kind of feel like right now I feel like I'm in the last chapter, or kind of like in the last part of a journey I'm in right now. I feel like when Fido passes, there's gonna be a lot of change, and a lot of things are gonna be different. And I just honestly don't know what to expect once Fido passes away. And I honestly don't know how things are going to look like after he passes on. So because of that, it feels like almost everything I do is I have to make it count. I have to make everything count when it comes to making decisions, with what I do, with spending time with Fido, with how I try to have him rest, with what I feed him, and when I feed him, and how much I feed him. Being diligent and watching him closely as much as I can when I'm walking him, and everything matters now. I feel like everything that I do matters, and so it just feels like I'm in a point in my life where um, you know I have to make every moment count until the end, which I'm trying. I feel like I'm doing my best doing that, um, and because of that too, honestly, I know I know not a lot, or not everybody understands the bond between, you know, or the bond of having a pet, uh, and people probably won't know that until they have one of their own, or you know, or unfortunately people have pets and they still don't fully comprehend the, the blessing it is of having a pet that looks up to you and is so dependent on you. um, but for me, Fido has been in my life for half my lifetime. I'm gonna turn 28 in July, and he's 14. He turned 14 in March, and so half of my life I've known having Fido with me, and it's it's gonna feel so out of place when he's not around anymore. And again, I can't help but feel frustration about all this, um, because I understand that vets try to make the best decisions that they can for the pets that they're entrusted in their care. Um, but if he would never got off of those pain medications initially, um, and and for whatever reason, I don't know why he had a bad reaction to the pills that elderly dogs are supposed to help elderly dogs. Like those are the best ones to give him. I don't know why he had a bad reaction to that one, and so there's no other option for him for pain medication, at least as far as like from the professional from the veterinarians and whatnot. But a lot of times I just feel like I got robbed. That I got robbed of time with him. That I that I could have had more time with him. But I I can't. I have to also take responsibility of my own actions too, because there's been a lot of times where I could have spent more time with him and I didn't. And that's why I'm trying to make up for it now when it matters most. And in the last, well, truthfully, I don't know. I don't know how much time I have left with him, because with the concerns that the vets have brought up about him recently, and truthfully, I honestly feel like I there's just so much uncertainty, and I don't have a lot of control about his environment. Um, I just I honestly don't know what or when something will just affect him out of nowhere, and then that'll be it. And I just feel like I have no control over his health. I feel like I'm kind of just really hoping every day that something crazy doesn't happen to him. Um, and yeah, like I said, all I can do is just make every moment count with him from here on out. Truthfully, I feel like he could get past 15. Like he could reach his 15th birthday, but I'm very doubtful that he will reach his 16th birthday. Um, but I also am understanding that he might not even make it till his 15th birthday, with how fast his health has declined, and again with the uncertainty and the lack of control that I have over his health. Yeah, there just has there's just hasn't been there's been very little signs that have given me confidence that um, that that I can hope for him to be around for more than a couple more years at the most. So it seems like we are in the final phase of his life. And someone told me this, and I didn't initially know how to answer it when they asked me this, and I'm just trying to do everything I can right now to have the answer that that I want later. But someone asked me one time, if Fido were to be able to talk, what would you think he'd tell you? Or if you were able to talk and you asked him, what did he think of you? Um, what do you think he would say? And I mean, I would think and I would hope that he'd say that I loved him, that that I miss Papa, and he's my baby, and I love him so much. And when they asked me that, I mean, nobody knows how many times I wish I could have just talked to him, where we could have just shared a conversation, where I could have just properly expressed what I was feeling to him, and how much he means to me, and how much I care for him, and how much I worry about him. So many times. And I know there's a lot of times where I wasn't there when I probably should have been. Where he's felt that I neglected him, that I abandoned him. So that's why I'm trying my very best right now to just show him that I'm here, that I'm with him, that I'm right by his side. I'm not going to be gone for long periods of time anymore. I'm not just going to leave him. I'm not going to go anywhere without him. I mean, as much as I can, that I'm right here with him, until the end. Until the end. And I already have a way that I want to commemorate him when he passes on. Well, to backtrack a little bit, I'll just show you guys. So, in anticipation that eventually, sometime here soon, that Fido is gonna pass away, I made some projects through the help of Shutterfly, and so I made 2 things to, help me remember him when he's gone, that will help me to be able to visualize him and, bring back memories and just think of him. So, sorry, I have a hard time talking when I get really emotional. So, the first thing I have is this puzzle that I custom made, and I thought that all these pictures kind of gave a good representation of our overall relationship and what we did together and how comfortable he was with me and all the quality time we spent together. So it's all this. This is the whole puzzle right here. And right there you can see it says, I'll always love you, my puppy Fido. So there's there's the first one. And the second thing that I have is this picture book right here. I have of him. What you doing? You okay? You're doing good, baby. I'm talking about you. I can't look at him too much right now. I'm so sorry for everybody who stuck around. I wasn't expecting to be this much of a mess. But yeah, I guess talking this out, I guess it's hard. It's just it doesn't get any easier, especially when I feel like he's the closest thing to me. So, but anyways, this is a picture book, and the front has Fido with a little heart. And it says love right here, and it's a picture of him laying right next to me as I'm as I'm just sitting down. I think I remember this picture too. I remember where we were just at a park by the apartment I used to live at, and yeah. Sometimes he just liked to sit down and just lay up against my leg and just kind of relax and enjoy the outside. And then just the rest of the picture book, well, the front's empty, and then is the opening. Yeah, he's just a little messy right there. I won't show you all the pictures, but I'll kind of just flip through and just kind of just find some random ones. Whatever, I mean, you guys get the picture. I guess a little insight, because I actually like this one a lot. So, this other dog right here, her name's Molly, and Fido has made a lot of connections with different dogs, and with a couple of dogs, he's made some really close connections. And for whatever reason, ever since he met Molly, every time we pass by and she happens to be around, she always loves saying hi to him. And it makes me happy. I feel like that's the closest thing he's had to a girlfriend his entire life. She's just always she knows right away when she glances at him that it's him, and she just waits for him, and she's just patiently just sitting there wagging her tail, just waiting to say hi. And I know Fido likes saying hi to her too, and it made me happy. It makes me happy. And recently, because he's getting older, it's a lot harder for him to stick around and want to kind of just intermingle. But I'm glad that she still gets happy to see him, and it's good. So, but yeah, more pictures. Just kind of more times, more scenes and whatnot. Yeah, anyways, we're almost done. Let's see. I feel like there was something towards the end right here, maybe. I don't know how much I like that picture, but I like what I said there. No matter what, you're still my puppy. And then, I'm thinking about the back. These are the last 3 pictures in this photo book. And then, yeah, and then there's no more in the back. It's just the end right there. But right here, there's 3 more. And this quote that says, "The road to my heart is paved with paws." Very true. Very true. Oh gosh, this video is an hour long. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry, but I appreciate anybody who stuck around to listen to me and listen to my spiel. Yeah, if anybody wants to reach out to me privately and just kind of show their support and want to just express, their, you know, their hearts and whatnot, I appreciate it. One more thing before I finish is I didn't want to show a couple of things that I intend to sell off to kind of entice people and give people an idea of what I have to sell off and whatnot. Again, if you're not interested in any of this stuff, that's totally fine. The reason why I want to sell off my stuff is so that if I'm gonna try to raise funds for this, I want to at least give people something in return. And so I feel like that's the best way to do it, is just selling off my stuff. And I'm gonna sell off my stuff reasonably. I'm not gonna expect full price for anything. Whatever you guys feel inclined to spend for my stuff and whatnot, we can negotiate and talk things out and stuff like that. And the only thing I ask too is if people want anything sent over to them, if you guys wouldn't mind paying for the postage, then I'd appreciate it. Or for paying to have it be sent out and stuff. And because of that too, I'll negotiate we can talk about a lower price for the items too, since you're gonna have to pay for shipping and stuff. So but yeah, let me just show you guys a couple of stuff that I have that I intend to sell off, and it just gives an idea of what most of the stuff is. So for starters, is the first thing I can grab. And the thing is too, is a lot of this stuff, a good amount of this stuff, I either won from Dave and Buster's and stuff like that, or I found, or I either bought at a really cheap price myself. So I can't tell you exactly where everything came from or how I got it. But yeah, the majority of the stuff I attained them, at a reasonably good price for myself. So, but yeah, so for starters, I have this waffle maker, and I don't intend to use it for myself anytime soon. And so if people out there are nerds like myself that want to have this in their collection, or have a waffle maker and don't care about the design of the waffles, well, here you go. So here's the first thing, and I guess to continue from that. Whoa. All right, I'm about to fall off. You stay on. I also have an icing machine. Now this, I can definitely tell you, I won from Dave & Buster's. And I went to a store where I noticed they had these on sale, and these go for about $150. And I can tell you confidently, I put in nowhere nearly the amount of money I did equal to that to get this. So if people are interested in buying this, then I assure you can probably get this at a pretty good, reasonable price for sure. It says no syrup included, but I have a couple bottles of syrup if people want them too. So yeah, I have syrup for this. You don't have to worry about that. It didn't initially come with syrup, but I got myself syrup for this, and so I'll give that to you too if anybody intends to buy this. So there's that. The next thing I have that I think would give a little bit more. Uh, I think is a little bit more higher value, uh, for sure, or at least definitely limited. Is this pin set for the Denver Broncos 2015 Super Bowl run, for each playoff game that they won, and then pin commemorating their AFC championship win and then their Super Bowl 50 championship win. So there's that there. This I actually found, which I was surprised I found. It's not anything crazy, but I feel like, you know, some diehard fans would really appreciate this because it seems vintage, which for people, I hope they don't feel super old when they hear that. But I actually found this as I was walking Fido one day, and I thought this was like one of the coolest finds I could get. I don't have a VHS, but I mean, there's probably a way where you can convert this into a DVD, or even just, and I'm sure you can find this online somewhere too. But for people who just like to collect memorabilia, I think this is a pretty worthwhile item to have if you're a Broncos fan, obviously. So, and there's some scuffs and whatnot, you know, but I'm pretty confident you're not going to find a lot of. You're probably not going to find this in a lot of places and whatnot. So, I figured this would be cool too. What else? No, this. Uh, there was a couple things that I've tried to preserve as much as I could, and I think I've done a pretty good job preserving these. But I have some commemorative Pokemon cards, packages, a couple of these with like special pins too. Um, Again, the nerd in me, but this is from 6 years ago. Back in 2020, when no, not 2020, what was it, 6 years ago, 2018, right? We're just gonna say that right. I can, no, 2016. This is from 2016, so this is 8 years old, but I'm still kept it all this time. And so if there's an, I'll admit I have a lot of collector's items. I would say they're not necessarily daily use items, I guess, but I mean, if people are interested, they can have them. So here's that. Let's see. So I mean, at this point, people can assume I mostly just have probably like nerd stuff or whatever. So I mean, I have this pretty neat Super Mario Cup 2. And again, these are just giving you guys ideas of what I potentially have that, you know, if people are interested in buying stuff off of me, you know, this is pretty much in the area of what I have. So yeah, if you guys want to inquire about anything in specific, just let me know. You can just message me directly, and I can let you know what I potentially have and whatnot. So, but if there's that, and then a couple more things. I want to show you guys one of these. So I actually have I have a lot of these guys for sure. These are amiibos. I have a lot of let's see, I'm trying to get this out of the light, but well, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. Anyways, I have a lot of these, and these are actually pretty sought after, depending on which one you're trying to find. And so I have a lot of these that are still in their box too. So if anybody is interested in these, I'm definitely in the trying to sell some of these guys off. So if you're interested in these guys, let me know too. And then to finish off, I'm actually going to show you guys a couple plushes that I have that I've been able to acquire through winnings, and that I've had for a while that I just have no use for either. So let's see here. So I have a little Pokemon keychain plushes like this that I've had for a long time now. And so, again, just nerd collectible stuff that, you know, I mean, I'm not going to have a need for these guys. I'd rather just try to sell them off so I can be able to help Fido, be able to financially help myself with Fido better. So stuff like that. This will probably surprise people, because I did not have to spend any money for this. I actually was able to just get it. So let me get this real quick. All right. So this right here, I just got for free, and it's a giant teddy bear. And the thing is too, I actually won some giant plush dogs from Dave and Buster's a while ago too, that I just kind of kept around, and just they're still just sitting around and just waiting to either be bought off or wait. I'm trying to find a way to do something with them, but yeah, I have this one giant teddy bear and several giant teddy dogs. So if anybody's interested in those, feel free to let me know. But I have a couple more right here too. This, I have several plushes, and this is just one of them. I'm showing you this one, but this one's mine. It's I've slept on this a couple times, so it's a little dirty. But I have another one that's in that has this in plastic. So I have a brand new one if anybody is interested in something like this too. And then the last thing I'll show, but you know, just to show the variety of plushes that I have. But I have Mario plushes too. I have this one, and then I have some Mario Kart items in plush form. So again, just to give you guys an idea of what I got to sell off, that I'm gonna try to sell off, because again, I don't need them. So if anybody's interested, let me know, and if you guys want to inquire about something in particular, then you know, reach out to me, and you know, we'll talk about it. So, but with all that, yeah. So that's my whole spiel about everything that's been going on lately. And one thing I'll say too, before I forget, is I know a lot of people have shown me a lot of support in the past couple weeks, you know, over the years, about, you know, Fido, and have, you know, been so nice, and you know, shown how much they cared about what's been going on with him and stuff. And I can never express enough how much that all means to me, especially because, you know, I don't have a lot of resources at my disposal to be able to give him the absolute best care possible, but I try my best to do what I can to at least take care of him and ensure that he's at least, you know, taken care of properly, you know, and the best he can be, given, you know, what I can do, what we can do. So, but I just want to thank everybody who's shown support over the years and has been so gracious. And yeah, it's like, if anything to say from all this, my goal from here on out is just to make sure that, you know, I do what I can to spend as much time with Fido until I know I can't anymore, and that way I don't have any regrets that I didn't spend time with him when I know I could, especially in his last moments. And I don't know if I want to do this. He's sleeping right now. He's just sitting there. I kind of wanted to pick him up and bring him up to camera so I can make him flap his little leg like this, but I don't want to wake him up, so I want him to rest as much as possible. So, but it's gonna be really hard once he's gone. But that's why I want to make the most of all the moments I can have with him until then. And again, I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know when it's gonna be the last time I'm gonna get to spend time with him like this. So I just want to make it count. But again, I appreciate everybody. Thank you for watching. If anybody watched this all the way, man, I really don't want to make it this long. I gotta work on condensing my storytelling. So, but thank you, everybody. Until next time, take care. Bye.